I didn't know it at the time, but when I left the hospital carrying my new bundle of wonderful, I also gained a new piece of luggage. I'm not sure exactly when I received it. Maybe in the 50,000 pieces of paper I signed about not shaking my baby and vaccinations and horrible newborn photos. I don't have a clue. But what I do know is that I can't get rid of it, and it keeps getting heavier as mommyhood morphs. It's my backpack of guilt. It started out light. Oh, sure, the bottom was lined with, did I make all the right choices for my baby when I was pregnant? And is my baby gonna get rejected from Harvard because I didn't buy that video that promised to make her read in the womb? But it was manageable. Through the beginning of motherhood, my backpack began to get filled. I left my high-paying executive job to be a teacher because we felt it was best for raising our children. However, it didn't come without baggage. Guilt because we had half the income. Guilt because I left my career, and sadness because I received an instant downgrade from Gucci to Gap. But I shoved that guilt right down into the weird front pocket of my backpack because I knew it was the best choice for my family. The years wore on, and so did my backpack. Oh my God, she just banged her head for the 3,000th time. Is she gonna have brain damage? When it became apparent that no, she was not, the load lightened. But it was quickly replaced with, is she gonna turn into a serial killer because we let her watch SpongeBob? When the stork made a second appearance to my home, he also dropped off a whole new pile of guilt. Now I had to manage the weight of my guilt backpack and 2 small children, yay! Is my oldest child getting neglected because my newborn demands so much attention? Is my youngest getting enough attention because the oldest is so jealous? And why is my hair falling out in fistfuls? Am I gonna be bald? Will my husband leave me for a woman with a luscious head of hair? I never thought that I was the kind of person that can be home full-time. My first daughter and I get along much better when we're not together constantly. But then my husband accepted a job that brought us from Boston to San Francisco, and suddenly I was a full-time stay-at-home mother. How the hell was I supposed to handle being on call 24 hours a day with no break ever? There are no sick days. There are no vacation days. There's just mommyhood. And talk about guilt when you're not frothing over with excitement about being at home and spending endless hours making Play-Doh from scratch and watching 11 billion episodes of Caillou. I hate that whiny little bastard. Being at home is by far the hardest job that I have ever had. I end every day mentally, physically, and spiritually exhausted because trying not to raise a flock of assholes is really hard work. When there are highs, oh, it's wonderful and it makes everything 150% worth it. But there are a lot of lows that no one really talks about. And there's a lot of crying and whining and fighting, and that's just from me. Sometimes I feel like, oh my God, I have a master's degree, and all I do is wipe butts and boogers and referee. And the guilt of the world weighs down as everyone tells me how lucky I am, and enjoy this precious time, it goes so quickly. And I just want to tell them to stick this precious time where the sun don't shine. Because sometimes I don't want to carpe the diem. Sometimes I want to run away from the DM. I want to find one of those moms with a sorry for this mess, my kids are making memories sign, and leave my kids with her. Because my house is a mess, and the only memories they're making right now are of me screaming, stop whining, or crying, or tattling, or fighting, and who's wiping boogers on the wall? And my backpack keeps getting more and more stuffed. I want to get advice from Dora the Explorer because that bitch has everything in her mochila. And she never looks like she's been dragged behind the minivan of life. Which is what the weight of this guilt pack is doing to me. You see, when you work full-time, you have this guilt that you're away from your kids too much, that they're being raised by someone else and you're missing all these critical moments in their life. When they're sick, you blame the fact that you have to send them to daycare. And when they misbehave, you are positive others are saying, well, you know her mother works, which is why that child is a heathen. She probably even feeds them chicken nuggets. But when you're home all the time, you feel guilty that you're just a stay-at-home mom, that you have no money of your own. And anytime my husband teases me about getting a paper route when I want to buy something for myself, another piece of me dies inside. I am entirely, completely dependent upon him. The only thing I'm qualified for these days is the bald lady at the circus. My body looks like a deflated condom. My eyes look like they've been stomped on by a herd of chickens, and all of my brain cells have been siphoned into tiny people. If he leaves me, I'll probably have to get a job as a stripper at a truck stop. I'd probably turn to crystal meth as a diet plan, so I could at least strip in a 2-star establishment and have enough energy left over to clean the house after. You know, I see all these moms, and they're all buffed and puffed and perfect in their Lululemon. And my big workout for the day was digging through the pile of laundry on the treadmill. They have kids that sleep and play nicely and don't cry for 3 hours because ice is cold. And they post their perfect little families and their perfect little bodies and their perfect little marriages all over Facebook to taunt you with all their freaking perfectness. But you know what? The grass on the other side of the fence isn't really grass at all. It's turf. From afar, it looks so lush and verdant and appealing that you would give anything just to run through it with reckless abandon. However, when you get up close, you realize it's not real. It's pretty, it looks nice, but it's not real. Either side of the fence has benefits. Either side has downfalls, and both sides have guilt and people telling you that your choices are wrong. So we moms have to bond together to help shoulder this burden because this backpack can be suffocating. Share your frustrations with people going through it. You'll find you're not alone. Other moms are experiencing the same guilt and the same struggles, and stocking up on Spanx and then hiding the receipts in a random pocket of their backpack. But just make sure you have a very cute backpack, because it's much easier to be weighed down by something sassy than some crappy hand-me-down. Although you might want to get one with wheels. Thank you.